saying lately that they can't get trained staff. Well, you ask those same employers how many staff have they actually trained, and the answer will be none. I've found from my experience over the last 29 years of employing people that if you don't train staff, you can never ever expect to employ someone that is trained.
Group Training has more than 120 companies across Australia. They're in almost every industry and region.
They help young people into training and employment and employ more than 26,000 apprentices and trainees.
The Group Training company employs me. They arrange for me to work with a host business for a certain period, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a year or so. This makes it a lot easier for the host business, especially if it's a small business. It cuts down on the paperwork and stuff.
We find our own apprentices. We just bang our ad in the weekend paper and away we go.
Placing the advertisement in the paper is the easy part. It's after that when the real work begins. If we place an advertisement, sometimes we'll get up to 60 responses.
It's all a bit like a lucky dip in the end, isn't it?
When people apply for a job in my pet shop, I get all sorts of CVs. At the end of the day, it takes such a long time to go over all these CVs.
In the interviewing stage, we try to find out if the candidate knows anybody who's working in that particular trade or industry, and also if they have considered any of the positives or negatives associated with that.
Oh, okay.
In the past, we never used to take on trainees. It wasn't worth the hassle.
When we get them in, we've got this surefire way of testing them, see? We leave a piece of paper lying on the floor between where they're going to sit and the desk. And if they pick up that piece of paper and put it back on the desk, then you know this bloke's made it through to the second stage of our interview.
Group training makes it easier for the host employers. It gets rid of all the monitoring, paperwork and headaches.
With group training, I don't have to waste time and money searching for the right people. You know, people with the right attitude and the right aptitude that are going to stick to it for 4 years.
We've all interviewed people from time to time, and through the interview we've had a good gut feeling. But at the end of the day, we say to ourselves whether we've taken on the right person or not. With group training, it doesn't really matter, because if the apprentice doesn't work out in 6 months, you can always send them back.
The next step in our interviewing is we ask them who makes their beds at home. If they say their mums or their wives, then you know this bloke's no good. Like he's going to expect everyone else to pick up after him, isn't he?
At first I thought it would be really difficult with lots of extra paperwork, but actually it was quite the opposite. Group Training do all that for you. They really are very supportive.
In a small shop such as ours, I really do not have the time nor the expertise to organise proper training programs. And this is where I've found group training invaluable to my business.
They really are very supportive. And if you have no idea about how to develop a training program that will be nationally accredited, they walk you through it every step of the way. It really is a piece of cake.
There are a lot of unemployed people out there, but quality people are hard to find.
We go into their background, we look at their educational standard, we have our own literacy and numeracy assessments, and we follow that with an interview which generally consists of about 20 minutes. We see how they respond in a team situation, which is very important to us. We try and find out why they want to do that trade and where they're going to go with that trade.
Our job is to provide skilled employees to the retail industry and increase the host company's bottom line. When we're recruiting, we're actually looking at each individual job and selecting a trainee that will suit not only that host employer, but also the store, the other staff and the rest of the industry.
By the time they come to me for an interview, I know that they're of a very high calibre and have the potential to be exactly what we're looking for.
You don't have to worry about the hassles of finding a job. Group training will help you through it. They organise your TAFE studies and make sure you carry them out well.
We've been using group training for the last couple of years. Group training have a commitment to us as much as they have a commitment to the trainees.
What we like about group training is its flexibility and its follow through.
Group training's the way to go.
In half, that way, okay, that way.
We have 12 apprentices at the moment, all at various stages of their apprenticeship. We're happy, they're happy, but if we do have a problem down the track, we just call group training and they sort it out for us.
Yeah, we've had a lot of failure in apprentices. We had this bloke once who kept taking days off. The real problem was he just wasn't interested. So we had to let him go and start again.
We had an apprentice who was failing a subject at TAFE. I didn't know what to do, I didn't know how to get to the bottom of the problem. So I called group training, they came in, they spoke to the apprentice, they spoke to his lecturer, then they organised him some tutoring and the problem was all sorted out.
We had this other apprentice who couldn't handle the TAFE work. So he went by the wayside too.
We've been using group training for over 7 years. It's our preferred way of sourcing permanent staff.
There was this other bloke we had whose dad said he had to have a job, so he never really bothered trying.
We've been using group training for the past 4 years, and each year we put on 2 apprentices. Of our 22 employees, we've always got 8 apprentices coming through their time.
I suppose 3 out of 7 see their apprenticeships through.
These days, we have a 100% success rate with our apprentices.
We're in the position that if a host employer rings me today, I should be out there no later than tomorrow.
Their job is to make life easier for us, the host employer.
These guys tackle problems, they don't pass them on.
And that's what people want.
We've been using group training for just over 7 years now, and it's been a win-win situation for both us and the apprentices.
It's a long-term relationship. These guys aren't body sellers.
A good thing for us is while we're closed over Christmas, group training look after all the apprentices' holiday pay and all the paperwork involved. It's all done for us.
Group training can do all that. Gone. What's the catch?
You've got to see that the apprentice gets the best possible training. You can't treat the scheme as if it's cheap labour, because remember, at the end of the day, your firm is only as good as your worst employee.
Working with apprentices enables us to keep in touch with what's happening in industry and training. You know, we actually learn something from these guys too.
Group training employs more than 26,000 apprentices and trainees and works with over 30,000 Australian businesses. They've got to be doing something right.
At the end of an apprenticeship, there's nothing more rewarding for an employer to look over his shoulder and see the apprentice or tradesperson that he's trained.